So I'll use the schematic to explain the scenario here. So if we read that first sentence here, we need to start from when the front ends of the trains had crossed each other, which means they both meet. So from this point, we're told that the front end of A crosses the rear end. So that's when the front end of A meets the rear end of B. So we're going from this situation to that, and the question is, it takes 46 seconds. And what's the distance that's traveled? And the way I like to visualize is to look at the rear ends. The distance between the rear ends when the front ends meet is the sum of the lengths of the two trains, LA plus LB, this plus that. Now, when the front end of A meets the rear end of B, then the distance here between the two ends is just the length of train A. That means the distance that the ends have traveled is the difference, which is L sub B, or the length of B. Some of you might be able to just directly get to that, but I think it's important that you have clarity in terms of that's what's happening here. Now, if the speeds are in the ratio of 5 to 3, that is if the speed is, say, 5s here and 3s for B, then the length traveled would be the sum of their speeds, because they're traveling in opposite directions, times 46. So that's our first relationship. Now, they tell us that it takes another 69 seconds for the rear ends of the trains to cross each other, meaning get to that point. Now, here you will see the distance between the ends is 0. And here it was L sub A between, or the length of the train A. So that means that going from this to the final scenario where the rear ends meet, we've traveled another L sub A, which is the length of train A. Again, some of you might be able to see it without doing all this, but I had to do it, and I think for these types of questions, it's always good to do it, this kind of a visualization, because you will see variations in the future as well. So L sub A would be, again, 5s plus 3s, because they're traveling in opposite directions, and the time taken is 69. So if we take the ratios of these two equations, you'll see that the speeds drop out, and we end up with the length ratios being equal to the time it took. And then you'll see both of these are divisible by 23. So 3 over 2, and this is the ratio we need, which is 3 to 2, and that's answer choice A.